Hello. Today is just an explore, like a micro explore, zooming in on the pattern editing, and specifically going to edit a particular note in the pattern. So currently this pattern, if I press down here on play, which you might not quite be able to see, but it's playing now, there's no information there, and that's because at the moment I don't have anything in the pattern. If I go to here and choose this real-time, grid and step, if I go into grid, the display then changes and shows this. If I now press play, it's not playing anything because there's no notes showing. There's not been notes put into the pattern. What I'm going to do with this is, I think, just explain quickly my understanding here from the manual. Each item on this screen tells you something that's important, obviously. There you've got track 1, T1, and you can change that by using the track buttons there, or if you highlight, so there's my pen, there we go, I got a purple pen, look. That flashing cursor there, if we move that back here to track 1, you can then use the select wheel to do that, or you can use the track buttons here. Do we have a noise? We have a noise or a preset here on track 1, on channel 1, sorry, for track 1. So if we go there, track 1, the note a play, zoom out a bit here, it'll change to, see how the note changes, and that's great. So I'll put it back to C3. I can also do that with the select button, so you can see I turn the select control and it'll move it around. That's great. If in grid mode then we want to edit a pattern, put a new pattern in, sorry. I'm still learning, you see, so this is the first time I've really gone in depth, deeper than a basic layer of putting notes in. So we want to see what happens if I put notes in, and that's what I want to see anyway. If I put notes in, and if it's possible then to edit a note position. A gentleman called Dave Broman on the Emu Proteus user group asked the question, is it possible to offset timing of a step in grid mode? So I'm in grid mode at the moment, and we're going to find out if that's possible. I know you can note shift once you've done a pattern and move the notes up and down, but I don't think that's what Dave's asking. I think it's to do with, as he's clarified, shifting a note, just one note, one step. So I'm going to have a look at that now. I also want to say thank you to Dave, because this has provoked me to go deeper into this marvellous device. So with all that rambling going on, now I'm at 4 minutes, I haven't done anything really yet. Let's get into it. So let's do a pattern. We'll use the individual controls which respond to the notes here. So there we go. We'll give it a velocity of 100, and we'll give 100, 100 and gosh, can't even tell the difference between the losses. So there's 100. Right, so I've got that. That's marvelous pattern. All on the dot, timing, fantastic. But what if I want to move one of those notes slightly, up or down, backwards or forwards in time, shall we say, not up or down, backwards or forwards in time, so shifting the note timing. So for that, I'll go back into grid mode, press play, there's it moving. Oh, I think I'll stop play because that's going to be really irritating, the noise. So I'll hold it on pause and we'll go to edit the pattern. Right, this here I'm in at the moment is, let's scroll right back to the beginning. When you press edit pattern, you get the pattern name there. Scroll through and there's lots of options, including the scale shift, which is what I thought I'd use to do it, but that's not the one. And we're looking for erase track, cut track, copy track, keep going. Ah, right, so just after explode clipboard to tracks, there is this, which is note. And what that is the note list editor. Each of these things here, let's use the pen, I'll zoom in a bit perhaps as well. Right, so we've got here from left to right on the top one, track 1, which you can change. See how it says no events in track? Because I've not recorded anything to track 2, 3 or any other tracks. So track 1 has some note events in. Now I can edit the note events. See the flashing cursor there? Yeah, I can take it to events, so I can edit events. But we want to move the note, so we're on note list. The next one, that funny bar thing there, is the event scroll field. So if I move that cursor to there, we can then see that how that changes. You've got bar 1, beat 1. There's an event which is there, bar 1, beat 1, bar 1, beat 2. You've got an event over here. The light's on. 3 is this one down here, and 4 is this one here. There. So, and that's it then. I carry on scrolling. There's nothing else there. So we'll go back to the number 1 here. So the next line, so carrying on the line, this is the bar number, or the time location if you will, beat, and the subdivision of the beat. C1 is the MIDI channel, C3 is the MIDI note, so we can change that here as well. So in other words, if I press play now and then change, this is bar 1, beat 1, which is this flashing one here. If I change that, there we go. So the do, yeah, so that's terrible. D3 now, I've changed it to, so you can change it to whatever you want. For that individual event. Yeah. So that's the 1, if you will, of the events. The first event, bar 1, beat 1. So then if we go to here, we can change that to the next event. Yeah. So what I've just done there, actually, this is how I found it out. What I did there was the wrong thing to explore the individual events. However, what I did do is show you how to edit an individual note and move it. So I'll put that back to 1 again, and we'll go back to grid record. And now if you look in grid record, there's a note missing. So if I play that now, why is that button not on? Right. So this is where I get confused as well. So I'll just explain what's happening here. When I go into grid mode, because I've changed the note to D3, it no longer shows up on this line, and that's because when I go into the pattern mode or view of the pattern I put in, see how it's missing there, so it's not on lit up there. That's because I used D3. There we go, and that's where the note is. I shifted the note until up to D3. So that's how to alter the pitch, the note value, and that's why it disappeared from my radar. Okay, so to save confusion for me at least, I'm going to make that disappear and put it back to C3. There we go, and re-enable it there, and then I'll be able to show you what I'm doing if you're still here. We need to go to pattern edit, back to the first note event. So that's right. So this is when this cursor's underneath that funny symbol there, the minus sign. That will change these numbers on the right, because that is the event select. So you select which event. So if there's multiple events, it'll scroll through them. This is where the event takes place. So let me show you quickly what that means. So there is an event, a note event, bar 1, beat 1. That's here. Next event is bar 1, beat 2, which is here. So if I add an event, in fact, there we go. I've just added a load of events there, which sounds like that then means that as now, in theory, as we scroll through this, we'll start getting, this is bar 1, beat 1, and then that third number there should be when each of these events take place. So let's have a look. The next event takes place at 0.96, that's that one. Then it's 1.92. Then it's 288. And the next one is here. So I hope you're getting this. The next one is, my encoder skipped, here at beat 3, and the final one is at beat 4. So just to show you or audibly give the cue, if I go, that first beat there is on C3. The next one, if I change that to a D3, yeah, I'm going to say that won't work because I've just added a D3. That's why I've got to be careful here, because I don't know what I'm doing. Let's change that back down to C3 there. Right, so let me just go back to here. So I'm going back to the note list. So this note here, the next note's there, the next note there. So they're all C3 at the moment. Brill. So that one I'll change to, using this screen, change that to D3. The next note event, so I've gone back to event there. and then scroll to the note to play, which will be E3 this time, and then go to here again, the next note event 288, which should be this fourth one in the first bar, complicated for my brain. We'll put that as an F3. So now if we play it should go D, 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 etc. Right, let's see. Yeah. Oh, and you've probably seen it, but rather than pressing stop, I'm just pressing play again in grid mode, because that pauses the grid mode playback and you stay in the grid mode. If I press stop, it goes out of grid mode completely. This is easy just to pause it using the play button again, just so that you can alter stuff. So if I now look at this, I can alter when these things happen, which would be each note that plays. I can alter here when they happen, yeah, to alter the timing. So what I'm going to do is drop that back down to a C again, go back to note event, and this time I'm going to use, you can't see it on the screen because it's zoomed out in at the moment. I'm just going to press the, in fact I might as well show you, just going to press the C3 button there to change the note value for that note event. The next one is showing D3, so I'll press C again, so it changes to C3, and the final one's at C3. So now if we play it through, they should all be the same note playing. Hooray, got that right. So now, zoom back in again to the display so you can see it a bit better. So we've got track, note that's going to be played, the time it's going to be played at, the channel, the MIDI channel it's going to play. So in other words, you can edit that so that that first note goes to channel 2 on MIDI, or channel 1, or wherever you want it to go. Next one is the actual MIDI note to play on that channel. Then we've got velocity, so you can alter the note's velocity here, each individual note. And then we've got the duration, so how long the note plays for. Okay, so let me just get that back so you can see these other lights here. So I'm going to take off those 3 extra notes I added. So now we've just got this. Yep, so there's just every beat in the bar has that C3 note. I'm doing it simply like this to help me to understand and maybe show you that the system, and then you can make some exciting stuff with it. So let's say we want to alter the timing of this third note, this third event, because we know there's that, and that, yeah? So you need to know your tracks intimately, because if it's on a different note value, you might not see it when you are on this pattern area, yeah? So the pattern button there, the view of the pattern, is showing you the representation of which notes are going to play, which is mirrored here on the track enable triggers area. So if you have a different note value there, I'm not using my pen, so if I put that as a D, so there's no notes in D, as in the note of D is not being played in this pattern. Go back to the C3 note and we can see this note is being used in the pattern. That probably needs another video. I've done one already, I think, something like that. So make sure you edit in the note sequence that you want to edit, Gosh, I'm confused. Edit pattern. Now we get to shift when the note happens. So currently this first note is, if I go to the, so I'm not making the wrong choice, it's going to happen beat 1 of bar 1. Brilliant. At dead 0 there. So what if then, rather than that, we alter this timing? Yeah. So when we alter it, it'll go up. These are rather small divisions. I think it's 384. No, I don't know. I don't know what the divisions are meaning. I was just thinking something else there. So you've got quite a spread of numbers here. Yeah. Still going up. Which is 384. Yes, it is. Oh, right. So I have remembered right. Okay, so for each MIDI note, the command station runs at a maximum of 384 ppqn, parts per quarter note. Yeah, or something like that. So it's got 384 divisions within a beat where you can place the note. So if I now press play here, the timing of that first note should have changed. So let's see. So if you can see there, when I press play, instead of the note being highlighted here at this end, it had moved all the way up here, because at 375 out of 384 it will have moved almost to the next beat. Yeah, so if I drop that down and put it at 200, that should be rough. I don't know, 190 will be in the middle, 192 or something. There we go. So that should now move, this light should now move to there-ish. Right, so it's just gone to there, so let's drop it back a bit. Ah, right, so it does it. Yeah, so 192's there, 191's there. That makes sense. So, as you can see, you can actually do it in real time. So you can edit when the note happens, the timing of it, but it does depend where this cursor is. So if you've got it there and you start altering the cursor while it's playing, it'll put it in another beat, another bar, if there is one. If you put it there, it'll change it to another beat. So if I move the cursor underneath there and alter it, press play. See how it's moved over to the next. You might not be able to see that actually. There we go, it's moved over to the next beat, yeah? So if I change that back again, it should come back over here. Yeah? So you can move it to wherever you want. So that particular note you can put wherever, all the way down either rows or whatever. Just by altering that, because that is, stop that noise, that is your beat reference. Yeah. So then if you want to edit finer, so this is really coarse, medium coarse, fine editing, and we play this again, you can get the interesting timing just right for when you want the note to play. Let's just go up to 300. Yeah, so all of a sudden, let's move closer. So there is like that possibility while it's playing of moving each individual note Put it really close to it. See how they're almost merged together now. Just a warning with this, caution, on the same note value, if I now move this past that 384 value, it'll move into that point there, and I think, we'll try it now, I think it might delete that note and just carry on going, so let's try that. No, it doesn't, it carries on. Brilliant. That's brilliant. So that note, just put it where you want. Yeah, so you can drop it right back. It's really raining hard outside. Yeah. So in other words, once you put the initial notes down, whether you recorded them roughly by keyboard in real time, or whether you've used grid mode and put them in, it'll actually do that. It'll alter the timing. So what I'll just do now quickly is try and play notes on each beat of the bar. Obviously I'm not going to get it perfect, and then I'll alter them and just to reinforce how to do that, because I'll have to find out which one's out of time and all the rest of it. So if I go back to pattern view, I'm going to, you can't see that, so I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to use the, just move that over there a bit, there we go. I'm going to use the MIDI controls over here, which will, this one, each one of those corresponds to beat 1, 2, 3, 4 in bar 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 in bar 2, and so on. However, that does change if you change, I think there's a resolution or a quantize setting, so you can spread it out to get even finer control. But anyway, that's another day's thing. So I'm going to drop that value right down. So in fact, if I play it while we're doing this, you'll be able to hear the thing happening. So I can either take them off here, take off the individual notes using the trigger buttons, or I can use these to drop down. So now we've got nothing, yeah? So we'll stop, we'll go to real-time record, a bar of length of 1, start, well we need to start at the beginning, so I'll press stop twice and that'll take it back to the beginning. Go back to real-time record. I could have edited it, of course. Quantization off, metronome off, counting off. Brilliant. Oh no, let's put counting on 1 bar and let's go. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so my time is terrible there. So what I need to do now is to go into grid. Alright, the first note's well off. Yeah. Go into pattern edit. And remember, you might have to scroll through from the beginning to this point. I know that first one there, the first note event, which I'm just checking with the scroll wheel. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. There's the note events. Yeah. So that one I need to change the timing of. Now I could do it just by pressing that button and moving it along, but I'm looking at shifting an individual note. So that's why I'm doing it this way, just to answer Dave's question. Let's go. There we go. So I'll drop this right down to the beginning. And I see my second note duration, so I'm going to go to the note event number 2, and I'm going to change that and drop that right down. Yeah, and then the third note event, so I'll go to note events, change that value, Yeah. And the final note event is slightly off. So now we've got a boring, regular, absolutely on-the-spot beat. But of course you could do exactly the opposite of this, put some variance in and make it sound a bit more human. The other thing as well is there are these other settings. So you've got the velocity and the duration of the note. So you can alter, if I go back to event 1 there, velocity of 68, C3, and the duration here, I can change the duration to be fairly long. Yeah. The note event, change that again, so. And instead of doing a long, alter this and see where we go with this. And don't forget this goes up to 384 is for the complete beat. Yeah. But of course you do it here as well and take it for that'll be almost 2 bars. Yeah. But that looks like that duration doesn't work in terms of continuing past that note. Anyway, that's another explore for another day. So there, hopefully that'll be of some use to you. In exploring your editing of patterns, editing note timings. I'll leave it there because we've gone half an hour, unbelievable. And maybe put a screenshot of the editor window from the manual showing all the different things. There are lots of other things. I better mention now actually. If we go to down here, pointing here, we've got edit and repeat here. Might as well do this now actually. Yeah, so not edit, erase and repeat. So if I choose the note event, let's say I want the second event there, which happens on bar 2, and I press erase, it gets rid of it. So now when I go to let's just go to grid mode, see how it's completely gone. So when editing, if you happen to rest your hand here on erase, it'll just erase it. Also there's the repeat button. Now what that does, interestingly enough, fair enough, so if you notice, so we've only got now, yep, because we erased that second event. If I go to the first event, which is this one, and I press repeat, it should, right, okay, so I think I have to change the time to put it at a different time, otherwise obviously it won't. Right, well I thought maybe right, so maybe I need to do this, hang on, change that value, press repeat. So let's have a look at that. Yes, right, so what happened there was you have to select the note event. So that's the first one. And then you press, there I pressed repeat, and then change repeat. So now, in theory, yeah, I've got an extra 2 notes that I've just edited and put in. So let's just try editing the third event just to make sure I've got it in my head. Got the note event, pressed repeat, yeah, and therefore it's created a new one at that new time, because you can't have this, you can't have double notes on exactly the same time. So if I now pressed, I wanted to repeat that again, I press repeat and edit the time just one forward, one tick forward out of the 384 available. I can then check that that's the new event that I've copied off 174, which I copied off 3. This hasn't changed because when you're in grid mode, paused, the visualization that's happening here has to update with a full cycle. So if I was playing, we can try that. So all those notes I've added extra are actually there now. So on that first note, we'll try copying that, which is, that's the first event, isn't it? So let's go back to the first event, the first note event. Yeah, I've selected the note event, press repeat, and then change that time to 100. So it's put an extra note in there. Yeah. So then I press repeat and change that to another time. Yeah, so all of a sudden we've got that possibility to add extra notes at that time, roughly in the time frame. Scroll back one event. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, we can alter then these timings. Yeah. And then see the 2 there, that's telling you this 2 notes so close that it can't display because the time grid is set to a coarse size. Now that would be another thing to look at. Note events, no events in track, channel sign. I wonder where that setting it would be for. Would that be globally? I wonder. Sorry, you're listening to. Oh dear, I've just turned it off. See, I'm still on record grid editing, so I turned off that first note. In fact, probably, yeah, I deleted one of the notes because I was still in this editor mode. I deleted one of the notes by altering this because this is altering the value for that first step. So to put it back in again, I'd have to record it either real time or go into where's note events again? Note events, go, that's the first one, that's the second one now at 140. I'd one at 70 as well, didn't I? So if I press repeat and put it at there we go. So now if I go back to pattern mode, it says 2 again because there's 2 so close it can't see it. So what I need to do is take the record mode off, and then I can do what I was trying to do, which was alter the preset just to give us a because you can do that, can't you? So you can really affect deeply all these things that are going on. A bit of chorus on that one, obviously. I'm probably just going to have a play now. So yeah, if there is anyone still here, I'm just probably going to have a play with this noise thing that's going on. That's terrible. To my ears. Oh, great, yeah. Presets, let's use... Okay, so probably have to go there. There we go. We'll leave it there. And I'll do some more later. Thank you for watching if you got this far.